Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the Arizona Corporation Commission is set to consider dropping energy efficiency standards for utilities. We'll hear about a multi-state agreement involving the CAP and water supplies in Lake Mead. And a new report shows a slight increase in arts education in Arizona. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Phoenix Police Chief Daniel Garcia was fired late this afternoon. Garcia was fired moments after holding a press conference in which he demanded a new 2-year contract. The press conference occurred after Garcia met with City Manager Ed Zerker and, according to Zerker, was told not to hold a press conference today, but Garcia went ahead and was fired by the city manager for insubordination. Once again, Daniel Garcia out as Phoenix Police Chief. We will have much more on this story tomorrow on the Journalists Roundtable. The Arizona Corporation Commission will hold a hearing tomorrow on a matter that could end energy efficiency standards for utilities. Here with the details is Luigi Del Puerto of the Arizona Capital-Times. Luigi, good to have you here. Thanks for coming in and talking about this. Now, this is energy efficiency requirements. This has been in place since 2010. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about efficiency systems that consumers, ratepayers, have been able to access essentially and use incentives to lower their electricity bills. For example, management systems that would help you determine when to use energy. Having trees in front of your windows, for example, that would lower the cost of your electricity bills. And all of these efficiency systems, as you mentioned, have been in place for a number of years now. And they're supposed to go on for several more years and would save the customers, the ratepayers, between $7 and $9 billion over the cycle of this life cycle of this program.
And indeed, these are programs that are designed to help the consumer to save energy, but also there's subsidizing going on here with light bulbs and with a better, more efficient home appliances, maybe home energy checks, these sorts of things. And I understand that this costs money to the utilities, but how much does it cost, and how much is that saving the utilities from other costs?
What the $7 to $9 billion in savings that the ratepayers, the customers, will save within the life cycle of this program is the amount of money that the utilities are losing, because anytime you use less electricity, that means you're not paying for it. That means less revenue for the utilities. Of course, the whole idea, the whole concept is that if we are using less energy, if we are being more efficient with our energy use, then maybe we don't have to pay for or invest in big infrastructure projects, for example, a new power plant that would cost a lot more money to everybody, to ratepayers. And so the idea is that if we can save and be more efficient with our energy use, then at the end, everybody wins, or at least that's the concept.
Well, if everybody wins, then why are they even considering this?
Well, that's a really good question, Ted. Right now, we are considering a whole lot of things before the Corporation Commission. A lot of things are changing. You know, solar energy has dramatically changed the way, or some aspects of the way we structure our energy system, if you will. And as all of these are happening, there's some thought, maybe we should revisit these energy efficiency systems and try to see if they're worth it, whether we should continue with them. Maybe there's another way of doing them. And maybe even, maybe the utilities can offer something better, perhaps. But the thing is that all of these things will be hashed out tomorrow, but also I do not think that they're going to vote on them tomorrow, because it's been decided that this is too big of an item to deal with within this, within the next couple of days, assuming they do vote on this one. So I think what they have in mind is to hear this, get the input from a lot of stakeholders, and then the next commission will be the one that decides what to do, whether even at all to revisit and then change the system that we have in place.
And that next commission is right around the corner. This commission now getting ready to get out of there. Anything happening down there at the commission with the last roar of this crowd?
The last hurrah. In fact, Today, the Commission did some very heavy lifting on several major issues before the Commission. One of them is, of course, the proposal by the utilities, TEP and APS, to install solar rooftop on hundreds, even thousands of consumers. The utilities are saying that we need this so that we can offer this solar rooftop system to those who can afford it. And the solar industry is saying, we don't need it. The private sector will take care of this, and this is just a way for the utilities to compete with us.
And what's going to happen tomorrow, along with now this consideration of the energy efficiency programs? More on the rooftop solar, or?
Yes, it's going to be part of it. Everything's happening so quickly. In fact, even as we're talking right now, they're still debating at the Corporation Commission, even now, about specifically TEP's proposal to install rooftop solar.
The makeup of the Commission as it stands compared to the makeup of the Commission next go-around, what are we seeing here as far as that dynamic?
Well, they're all Republicans. Nothing's changed there. However, party affiliation really has less to do with their decisions. We've seen this commission getting divided in a whole set of issues, including last year's net metering fight, and including the bigger fight over energy deregulation. I think there's going to be a lot of learning curve, a very steep learning curve for the two incoming commissioners. The issues that are before the commission are very technical, they're very big, and the fascinating thing about it is that we're all consumers of electricity, and whatever this small but very influential commission does affects every one of us.
And again, when we get back to this energy efficiency program and the idea of either gutting it or slimming it down so that maybe every 2 years you revisit it over and over again, the idea is that there's too much over-subsidizing going on? Is that basically the major concern? I realize that $9 billion saved to consumers is $9 billion lost to coffers, but we've talked about the fact that it also means you might have to build new power plants. This over-subsidization seems like it's a biggie.
There's always that subset of thinking that's driving this one, that maybe we are subsidizing the use of energy too much. We're doing it with we're not giving incentives to solar rooftop now, for example. Even then, we are debating whether those incentives should be there in the very first place. And so there's that, obviously there's that driver, that thinking, that paradigm that maybe we are subsidizing consumers too much. Of course, at the end of the day, consumers pay for everything.
Right.
We do.
Yeah, well, we'll see how much we pay for it. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Luigi, thanks for coming down. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
An agreement was reached last week between Arizona, California, and Nevada to add more Colorado River water to Lake Mead, which provides water to the Central Arizona Project. Here now to discuss the deal, along with funding for groundwater recharge and other CAP concerns, is David Modier, General Manager for the Central Arizona Project. Good to see you again.
Good to be here, Ted.
This agreement on Colorado River water, what are we talking about here, and what's Arizona's part?
Well, we are talking about trying to make some inroads into keeping more water behind Hoover Dam and Lake Mead in order to try to stem off the effects of this 15-year drought that's been ongoing there, and hopefully delay the imposition of shortage criteria on the lower basin states.
And this, as far as Lake Mead is concerned, how close are we to seeing triggers that would really be problematic?
Well, we're about 8 feet now, and with the recent rains and some of it getting into Lake Mead, we could be maybe 10 feet from that. But even that doesn't provide us a whole lot of margin of protection on it. It still looks like that Given the drought continuing as it is and is not projected to have much of an impact out of the winter storm so far, maybe near normal, which is not enough to impact the reservoir. We're looking at a drought declaration probably for 2017.
My goodness, right now, lowest lake level since it was really filled 75 years ago.
That is correct. It's the lowest level since they began filling Lake Mead behind Hoover Dam when it was constructed. So it's a significant situation and one that has the potential to have detrimental impacts to all the lower basin states, and particularly Arizona being the lowest priority.
Now, this deal, Arizona would put 4 feet of CAP water back into Lake Mead or not take it out. Is that how this works?
That's correct. We would not take it out. What we have been able to do is work with our partners here in Arizona to find ways to save about 345,000 acre-foot of water, leave it behind the dam and reservoir, get the concurrence of the Department of Interior, the Bureau of Reclamation, to not allow it to be taken by anyone else out of the reservoir, and therefore leaving that much water behind leaves about 4 foot more elevation change in Lake Mead.
And you know, Nevada and California, they're on board with this, correct?
They are correct. California will save a little bit less than we will during this 2-year period, and Nevada a much smaller quantity, but all of us have agreed to understand the situation is significantly serious on the Colorado, and we're all willing to work together. For the first time, we've got all 3 states to sign on to an agreement to take a positive step to help stem the effects of the drought.
Usually when we talk about this, my first question is, how's the cooperation going? Is everyone getting along? Is cooperation starting to erode or getting any better? It sounds like back against the wall, everyone's starting to figure it out.
I think that is correct. I think everybody has seen that to proceed down this pathway that the reservoir has been heading for the last 16 years, is not good for any of us in our states, for water supplies, for the economy. Economies of our states are based significantly on the availability of water, and so everybody's beginning to see that picture much more clearly and willing to come to compromise and listen to each other.
Farms impacted prior to cities with this. What kind of impact from not taking that 4 feet out of the reservoir?
Well, that shouldn't be much of an impact at all on agriculture. What we have agreed to do is to have some less water taken by agriculture within central Arizona. We will pay them a price for doing that, and then they will access other sources of water to make up for that in these 2-year period of time. Work some deals out with other people who hold some Colorado River rights, and also net effect will not be great on agriculture with this deal, but certainly if we would go into shortage, they would be significantly impacted. So staving a shortage off for another year or 2, unless we can work even better deals in the future, is a plus for the agricultural industry.
That last 10 feet, that's pretty important stuff.
That is very important for them.
Now, there's also a tax collection that's expiring soon, and I don't think people even understand or even know that it's there. Talk to us about this and how important this is to CAP, where the money goes, how the money is collected. Again, what are we talking about here?
Well, we're talking a tax that was authorized by the legislature back in the early 90s, and the original intent of that legislation was to build state demonstration water projects. It was a time when we couldn't get all our water off the river because we didn't have any place to put it. So these allowed us to build recharge facilities and other projects to take our water and store it in Arizona, and that funding was there to build those projects. It was modified over the next few years to allow us to use that revenues to help pay back our debt for the construction of the Central Arizona project, to deal with extraordinary expenses that we would run into, let's say like NGS costs, Nahava Generating Station costs in the future, and also to be used a lot for purchasing water with the Arizona Water Bank to store in the ground 4 times like we're going to be facing over the next few years, to offset water we can't get off the river by recovering that stored water in the ground. The problem today is that tax is set to expire in 2017, and we feel strongly that it's a positive impact to revenues needed for extraordinary expenses and for trying to store more water in the ground. The loss of that doesn't mean that costs would go up. It means we just have to recover those costs through existing water customers and raising water rates. So it's important that we get this extended and work with our legislature to do that.
I was going to ask, what happens if the answer is no?
Well, if the answer is no, the legislature does not choose to go forward with extending the tax, not changing it, not implementing a new tax, but simply extending the life of it, then those revenues that we'll need to do either water storage or to address extraordinary expenses that will happen in this drought, and with our power system, then we'll just have to raise water rates because we still have to deliver water. Delivering water from the Colorado is anywhere from funds anywhere from a third to 50% of the gross product in the state of Arizona. It's a significant asset to Arizona to have that available. There's no substitute for Colorado River water.
Is bonding an option? Does CAP do much bonding?
We have done very little bonding. We did some early in the life of CAP related to Lake Pleasant. We now have gotten additional bonding authority through the legislature a few years ago, and we may be starting to do some bonding with our infrastructure needs later this year.
All right. So again, the 4-cent tax collection, watch for that from the legislature. As far as the 4 feet of CAP water not coming out of Lake Mead, you're saying day to day should not see much in the way of consequences.
No, and that's only our contribution. Adding California to Nevada,
right.
We're hoping a whole total of 10 feet of elevation will be diverted and stay in Lake Mead rather than coming out.
All right. David, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
An update to the 2010 census on access to arts education in Arizona shows that the number of students without arts instruction has declined, but over 100,000 students still lack access to arts instruction by a highly qualified arts teacher. Here now is Alexandra Nelson. She's Director of Arts Learning for the Arizona Commission on the Arts, and Sally Stewart of the State Department of Education. Both of these organizations now teamed up for this report. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so this study, what exactly were you looking at and what exactly did you find?
Sure. So this study, as you said, is the second in a series. So it's a partial update to that 2010 census, and specifically it's an analysis of the department's highly qualified teacher database. So it's showing us students who have access to instruction in arts education provided by a highly qualified teacher. We did find, as you mentioned, that the percentage of students with access is up slightly since 2009, and this was really important for our agencies to know, 5 years later, how had arts education fared through the recession. So that was good news. But the report does show that there is still a gap between policy and practice, and we do still have some work to do to ensure that there's equity around arts education.
And it looked like it was maybe a 2% increase in 5 years for public schools and a considerable increase in charter students, although I think it's still just slightly above average. What happened? Was there an added emphasis on this, or did it just happen organically?
Well, I think, Ted, the really important thing is that we have to really applaud the efforts of teachers and schools and administrators to really support continuing arts education during such difficult budgetary times. I think that was one of the key things about the numbers. The other thing I think is that community partners and art programs have joined together, much like our organizations have joined together to continue that support. Our Department of Education brings services and support to our local schools and teachers and education community. That's really our job. So we were there to support them as well.
Has there been, there's a lot of emphasis on testing, a lot of emphasis on STEM, a lot of emphasis on certain things, maybe not so much arts over the years. Has that now been recognized and folks are starting to realize that an arts education is a good education?
Well, I know I do.
Yes.
So, you know, I think that we are really seeing that all content matters, all learning matters for students. And so we know that math and language arts and sciences and social studies, sports and the arts all provide a different way in for different students to be motivated in their education. So it's really vital that students have access to the arts, because for some students, that is the hook that keeps them in school. And we are definitely seeing a lot more attention being paid to that.
Creativity, teamwork, entrepreneurship, these sorts of things, arts education can help, can it not?
Absolutely, it definitely can help. And I think especially with the organizations that provide that for the community. Alex and I are joined on a couple of really exciting programs, because one of the things that the study showed was that in areas where there are smaller schools or in rural locations, students have less access to arts education. So how do we bring those programs to those students? Well, one of the ways is through a program called Arts to Go, which provides professional development for teachers online. And that program is done with local arts organizations like Arizona Opera. That program is going to start in January.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned rural schools and smaller schools maybe not doing as well as you'd like to see. What grade levels are doing best and maybe need some help?
Well, that varies by discipline sometimes. Each discipline will see grade levels that have different kinds of access, and that's for a variety of different reasons. But what we know is that access doesn't tell the full story. There are also additional resources and capital that need to be in place to ensure that all grade levels are receiving the same amount of support.
And as far, and I know that the survey talked about access to by highly qualified teachers, and I think highly qualified teachers was the exact wording. What does that mean? What separates an okay teacher from a highly qualified arts teacher?
Well, I think there's a couple of different definitions. There's highly qualified teachers as well as content specialists in arts education. So those are two things we're looking at, and it's teachers that have achieved a certain level of teacher qualifications, and that's what we were measuring in this particular study. But there are teachers who are providing arts education outside of the database. There's 3,100 teachers, though, in this group of teachers that have been compiled in this database, covers more than 1,800 schools in Arizona and more than 1 million students.
So the good thing is the access to an arts education has increased somewhat. The not so good news is it could increase more, correct?
Absolutely. And I'll just go back to that point that we know that anecdotally the dollar amount that's being spent in curricular support for arts education has not increased since we did the full 2009-2010 census. So again, going back to the idea of additional capital and support for the teachers that are in these classrooms, that is one area where we know we still need some improvement.
And Ted, I would like to point out as well that this information is available for parents and students, so they can go online and look at the arts programs that are available and where they're located and decide what they want to do in terms of choice of school.
And that's it with azarts.gov, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff
Oh,
after
there's
that.
a whole bunch of stuff after
we actually
that.
have a short one.
Oh, you do?
azarts.gov/2014 AZ Arts Ed Census.
That's the short one, huh? Well, I hate to see the long one. All right, so I guess the idea then is further improvement can be had. And again, you're talking 89%. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad, it's good, but we would like to see better.
And your best idea you have for seeing better? Number one thing you'd like to see?
Well, I am fortunate that we have such great partners in the Department of Education, and Sally mentioned the Arts to Go program, and we also have a program called Strengthening Schools Through Arts Partnerships, which is a grant program that connects Arizona D-level schools, so schools that are really under-resourced and low-performing, with arts organizations in their community to develop arts education programming that specifically addresses their school improvement plan. So from the point of view of the Arts Commission, that sequential arts education taught by a highly qualified arts teacher is vital, and then the combination of community resources and support is how we can make improvements for the future.
All right, very good. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.